I just realized that I misspelled my title, so I'll have to change it after this, everybody. Maybe I should quit this. We'll just run with it. I'll correct it. I noticed that I misspelled fragrance. I just typed it real quick and didn't even care. But sorry about that. We'll see if anybody wants to pop in today. And I'm thinking again. I think I'm gonna start just doing these on Saturdays, and or maybe maybe in the future. Depending if this YouTube gig changes at all, I might not do these lives too often. But I do go live just Saturday. I'm at just about every morning on my YouTube channel. I'm at on my Instagram channel. So on my YouTube channel, I kind of slowed down. Um, lives wise. Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember, but there was a period for about 2, maybe close to 3 weeks where I just did live videos for the heck of it as an experimentation to see if that's what y'all wanted, and that was kind of a funny, weird time as me as a fragrance reviewer. It didn't seem to work out too well. It was kind of fun to do. I'm curious to see what y'all thought about that. But anyways, I see two people are here. How are you doing today? What's your scent of the day? I was just joking about that. I think I misspelled fragrance when I typed this up. So I'm sorry about that, and I will change the title for y'all. So, anyways, what's your scent of the day? What are you wearing? I'm wearing a lot of different things. I'm wearing Baume du Dage. It's French. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. It's from the house of Eau de Italy, and I'm wearing that. I'm wearing Tobacco and Tonka Bean by Banana Republic, and I'm wearing a number of fragrances. I've actually been reviewing and getting some more recent videos ready for y'all. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but my last couple of videos have been more recent. There was a time where I did a bunch of fragrance reviews ahead of time, and then things get backlogged, and people are curious. Sometimes they said these videos seem older, or they because some of them were older, but I've gotten and I've uploaded and got rid of all those 100 videos, and we're back to your actual normal reviews, normal content, up to date here in 2020. So hope that y'all like that. I'm going to be bringing out more reviews of actual designer fragrances, actually things that I actually own. Um, and I mean, of course, I own these things, but I mean that fragrances that are actual full size bottles. And I know that a lot of y'all seem to enjoy that a lot more than just samples of odd indie fragrances. And hope that's something y'all looking forward to. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let me know. The one person that's here, one person. What did you think about my Roadster fragrance reviews? What did you think about my do you think I should do like weeks or consecutive ideas? Sometimes I get in a mood to review certain fragrances and certain styles of fragrances. And I thought that Roadster, I thought it was really important to go back to back to really focus on my channel and give a little bit of limelight as much as I can with my channel on Roadster, because it's one of those fragrances that when it dries up, there is a small cult following. They are well made. They are high quality. And when the supply does dry up on Cartier's Roadster, I don't think the price will get extreme. I don't think the price on Cartier's Roadster will get astronomical, like with some of these fragrances, like Gucci Pour Homme One, or Andy Warhol, the Andy Warhol the Face Edition, or anything like that. But I do think Roadster will get fairly expensive, as it is discontinued as far as I know, and the prices are already have creeped up, and who knows how long it will take. Sometimes it just seems overnight. You never know. Just like when I talked about Aqua di Giu Essenza being discontinued, it was about 4 or 5 months after that, and then the supply completely dried up after that. And sometimes you don't know, and you miss out. Just like I talk about me with Black Access Aphrodisiac by Paco Rabanne. It's a fragrance I actually really like. It's almost like a designer, kind of like a cousin. Has some similarities to Oud Satin Mood by Maison Francis Kurkdjian to my nose, and I really liked it. And at one point, that was a fairly affordable fragrance, but I don't know if they made too many of them as a flanker, and now it's terribly expensive and terribly rare. So you never know. I did get the word out just as the supply was drying up on Prada Extreme, I think it was called, and some people seem to have really loved that. That was a solid release. So I just wanted to get the word out on the Cartier Roadster. If you're a gentleman, if you like mint fragrances, if you like a dry, semi-sweet a fragrance, with a classy kind of timeless patchouli vibe. It's kind of hard to beat. I did notice that some people said they didn't love it. Some people said it gave them a headache. The original Roadster actually has pretty good performance, so it's not a fragrance that you should wear, I think, in the high summer heat. That's just my opinion, though. And you might want to go easy on the trigger to see how many sprays you can take. And again, in my humble opinion, avoid spraying fragrances on your chest. That's where, again, I've tried to mention this a couple times because I think it's important. Hopefully, people in the fragrance community will start mentioning it as well, because when you spray fragrances directly on your chest, that's a high temperature area. It makes the fragrance evaporate and project more, but it goes kind of straight into your nose, makes you go nose blind. And you don't really get to enjoy the fragrance as much. And also, if you're trying to judge the projection and the performance and people's reactions, it kind of messes up you understanding what other people are experiencing, and you're going nose blind throughout the day. It's just kind of a waste of. It's not the best way to go about wearing your fragrance. So try to spray on your elbows, try to spray on your legs, maybe the back of your neck, and yeah, I think you'll have a much better experience, guys. So anyways, there's no doubt that Cartier's Roadster is a patchouli fragrance, though. Y'all probably, whoever's here, y'all probably tell us saying to me, stop talking about Cartier's Roadster. Why are you still talking about it? So I'll stop. But I do have to say that it's a timeless classic fragrance. It's very well done, very high quality, and I do respect that fragrance. I am going to try to get the Cartier I think it's called Pasha Parfum, if I remember right. It supposedly is a boozy, spicy fragrance with some fougere elements to it, and seems to be a very high quality. And if you look at the right places, if it's not sold out, it usually sells out very fast if anybody has it in stock. But you can sometimes find it for the 55 or so dollar range. And I need to get my nose on that. I think I tried the original Pasha, or I tried one of the odd Pasha Cartier flankers. There's actually quite a few of them. It's a collection, and and it's kind of a collection that doesn't get a lot of love and not very highly talked about. Some of them were kind of a miss, and maybe that's one reason Cartier isn't talked about that much. And I don't know who the Pasha fragrances were for. I'm not really sure what market they're for. I've never seen them or really heard about any but them sold really in boutiques or stores, at least that I've been to, or at least that I've heard of. But maybe they're sold in New York City. I don't know. Maybe they're sold in St. Louis or somewhere, some big city. I really don't know. Anyways, what's your scent of the day, everybody? I see some people are creeping in. How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. Hope that you've had a beautiful week. It's been a pretty productive week. I've been getting my world together. I've been putting together a project and cleaning it up, and hopefully I can sell it off and make a little dough so I can buy maybe a couple more fragrances. Not too many, but there's been a couple I've had my eye on that I want to experience for this fall and winter. So looking forward to that, and been working on my dreams and goals. But how have y'all been doing? Anything new on your side of the street? So, I don't know, guys. I guess I could talk about some more random things before I get to more of the topics I actually might be more important. One thing I saw recently funny on my channel, somebody commented on my Roses Vanille review. It's a fragrance from Monsara, not particularly a very very well known fragrance. It's fairly recent. I do think it's a very solid release. I think it's pretty well done. I think I gave it a fairly positive review, but I do think it's a little bit simple. Anyways, but that's not a bad thing with Monsara. But the thing is, that one hasn't really gotten into the $80 range or gotten really discounted yet. So I think it might be a tiny bit expensive for what it is. But the funny thing was, guys, somebody told me they thought I got a fake bottle. And it was original sealed bottle, all numbers matching. It's not fake, and they told me that they thought I got a fake because I guess of my interpretation of the fragrance. I thought that was kind of funny. When people disagree, I guess this is kind of a part talking about the fragrance community or just in general. I think it would be better if you disagree with somebody to actually give a counter argument instead of just saying you're wrong, and I know that from experience. So If any, I mean, feel free to disagree, but we all have a different nose. To my nose, the Rose's Vanille has a certain watery aspect, and at times with the Mansara sweetness and the almost little tiny ambery tones to Rose's Vanille, I get a almost apple juice like quality from that fragrance. And there's a number of Mansara fragrances, especially Cedroc Boise, that could be compared to almost like a deep pineapple juice. So, anyways, I thought that was kind of funny that somebody seemed to kind of be annoyed, kind of be bothered, and I don't really know why. Some people get sensitive, so that, I mean, if people don't like my review, what can I do? But I do think that was an interesting aspect of the fragrance. It made it a little bit more exciting than I guess the fragrance kind of is. Anyways, any thoughts, anybody? Any? I don't know. I guess I'm not entertaining y'all too well. I have two people just jumped off, so five people here. What's your scent of the day? How are you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I don't know what else I can say right now. I'm just talking to myself. But this week, what else can I say? Was pretty solid. I bought these. Again, I'm an explorer and I do tend to camp. And I bought these from Canada, the good people of Canada. Some funny outdoor company made these kind of like a spoon, fork, knife set, but it's all made essentially of sawdust and essentially epoxy like a glue. They're actually pretty darn strong. But I actually like how lightweight they are, and I actually think I'm going to start using them all the time, more than metal utensils. Of course, metal utensils you can get them very hot and in a dishwasher and very sterile. So perhaps that's a nice thing for some people, but I like to hand wash things half of the time, anyways. So I'm gonna start using these funny, funny utensils, and to me, that little things like that make things fun. Little things like that that can be quirky or different can make things exciting. And I don't know. Okay, this is the same way with fragrance. We're all different, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So I don't know. I'll show y'all this real quick. This might seem terribly boring to y'all, but this is a thermo flask, which a lot of people know, and they're kind of trendy, might be considered hipster, but I didn't even know that when I bought it. But I actually like this thing because it insulates the water so well, and I can have it cold, which again might seem boring, but I drink out of this all the time. It's almost my and it's huge. I had some people comment on that and told me that one time. I don't know why I like this thing so much, and y'all might have some kind of quirk about you. Um, at college, I dated a gal, and she rode horses all the time. And she was at college, and she somehow found some. And I don't even. She wasn't even from the state, and somehow she found somebody. I guess they were fairly close by to the college, and who had like a horse ranch, and she loved horses and always rode horses, and I thought it was I thought it was strange, but that was a true passion of hers that she had to ride horses all the time. So make your dreams happen, but it's a funny world. Some people are going to go out of their way, drive 30 minutes one way just to go out there and do something like that. So you never know what's going to happen. You never know. Anyways, I don't see any comments. Are people? Oh, there are comments. I. Why did my comments not pop up until I clicked comments and I clicked top chat? All messages, live chat. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry. Stephanie Deming, hey Benjamin. I'm terrible. I don't know why the comments didn't just pop up immediately. I had to click on the comments, and I did that as the last resort. So let's see here. Stephanie Deming, thank you everybody for popping in. I'm terribly sorry for not seeing your comments until now. Let me see here. Stephanie says, scent of the evening is Commodities Whiskey. Nice. I love boozy fragrances. Boozy notes are some of the most fun fragrances and unique. Yes, if you are around very prudish people, they might think that you're intoxicated. But boozy fragrances smell playful, they're fun, and they also have a little bit to me of a almost an adult vibe. I wouldn't say mysterious, and I don't know if I would say seductive, but there's something adult and something almost risque about smelling boozy. And to some people, it might just seem like actually boring, you know. But in my world, like going out in public smelling like booze is actually kind of it's not daring in how it smells, but it's kind of daring and how you come across to people. So it's a little bit adventurous, and I like that. So awesome choice. Cloud based sense says I think you should do exactly what you like and don't conform to what people may like. If you like doing small decants too, exactly. I'm still gonna do small decant reviews, and I think that you can easily get a review from 2 mils, especially 3 mils, and I would encourage more fragrance reviewers to do that. And I've kind of addressed that in the past. I think that this is a terribly expensive hobby, and unless you have oodles of money, unless you're a giant reviewer with $1,000 coming in of ad revenue every month, there's no way to afford even trying to keep up with the Joneses of popular designer releases. I simply can't do it, even buying sample wise. If I was to buy 20, 30 really popular designer releases, just sample wise, out of my pocket, that could be as much as $200 or $300. And I personally, with my budget, would rather put that money towards fragrances that I truly love. So that's it is crazy, but yeah, everybody feel comfortable. You can smell. I mean, 3 mils is kind of a lot of fragrance. I guess it depends on how much you spray when you wear it, but that should at least be able to get you 3 wearings, even if you're a very heavy sprayer. 3 mils can go a pretty long way, at least in my world. I mean, I guess it depends on how strong the fragrance is, but y'all know what I'm saying. So thank you for the support, Cloud Based Sense, my friend. And I'm sure that y'all already know, but I've shouted him out before. But check out his YouTube channel. He's a cool guy. He's a friend, and he's got a good thing going. So Stephanie Dimon says I haven't watched the Roadster vid yet, but I assume it was leaning male leaning. I would say so. I don't know. Even for a lady, I don't know if you would like wearing the sport version. If you like a more of a dry white, kind of like an airy patchouli, you might like it. But maybe if you're a really big fan of violet, it doesn't smell the same as violet, but it almost has an effect like that. So yeah, I would say personally, as a suggestion. Of course, we know, we talk about it. Anybody can wear everything. Wear what you want, wear what you love. That's my motto. But yeah, I do think Roadster might not appeal to too many ladies. So Ronald says evening scent of the day is Armani Code Absolute. Great choice. Can't go wrong with that one. I do need to. I'm really really tempted. I'm not sure if I should buy that one or the gold version. I sometimes get mixed up. I don't even know what the gold version is called. There's like a gold version, then there's an absolute, and they have fairly similar notes, but there's some small differences. I need to get my nose on that one. So I mean, I need to maybe buy one of those because I've actually never bought an Armani. I did smell the original Profumo, and it's a fine fragrance. It's nice, but I just didn't fall in love with it. Especially since I've smelled the Pure Excess Night by Paco Rabanne. I personally prefer the Pure Excess Night. It's a little bit more vanillic. It's a little bit more maybe synthetic smelling, and it has that sparkly, piercing, not piercing, but it has this quality. It's hard to describe, but you gotta smell it to believe it. This vanilla that just keeps kicking, but it's like dark and almost boozy. To me, there's a cliche y'all probably know with the Armani Profumo. It's true. It smells like root beer, and root beer's fine. Root beer smells good, but I don't know if I want to smell like root beer. So, again, hey Rich. Stephanie says I agree. Post what's interesting to you. The audience you want will come. Absolutely. You got to be yourself. You got to be true to yourself. And when you're true to yourself, you get to be authentic. You get to show your emotion, and you get to feel happy, I guess, or fulfilled. And I think that comes through with the camera. I hope that comes through right now because definitely you know, it's this is authentic for sure. So, Rich Mitch, no, not scripted. Y'all can clearly see that. So, Rich Mitch says, "I love Roadster. Yeah, Roadster's fantastic. I think it's a very high quality fragrance for what it is. Even though you can find it for $45 or so, if it is sold out, I was impatient. I actually didn't know when it would pop in and out. I hadn't been watching it too closely, and I actually ended up paying. Somebody made a little bit of money off of me, and I ended up paying $60. But I was happy. I'm still happy with my purchase. I could have returned it and and not even sprayed it, and then when I figured out it was in stock for 45, but oh well. 15 bucks, it doesn't hurt too much, and it's a good fragrance. I think it's worth 60. It's one of those fragrances. Some people don't want to buy anything unless it's like 30 bucks or less, and even you're not I mean even these fragrances that are really really discounted, it's just not going to work that way with a lot of them. And I wish everything was a penny. I wish that everything was super cheap, and we're fortunate, with a lot of us. I was actually earlier today talking to somebody in Jamaica, and this gentleman was in Jamaica, and it's a place, that's kind of distant. It's kind of far away from so many other places, and I can only imagine how much the shipping cost, the tariffs and all those, and the bills and the middleman and all those bills, and the taxes and everything piled on, and also if you're not high income, just in general, fragrances to people in Jamaica are just a very very expensive and a luxury. So I think we're pretty fortunate, to have so many beautiful fragrances. So um, let's see here. But thank you for the love, Stephanie, again. And Rich, you're awesome too. And Cloud Basin says, I actually am the polar opposite of a gentleman, and I'm not into barbershop fougères at all. I actually like Cartier Roadster a lot. Yeah, more power to you. You don't have to be a gentleman. It does have an edge about it. It can be a provocative fragrance, and I think to me, it comes off more as a classic fragrance. And of course, you don't have to, go in line with any fragrance, even if it comes across that way in the smell. A fragrance is really I guess, what is it? An extension of you. You kind of make, some people might affiliate or think of a fragrance in a certain way, but the fragrance is pulled off by the individual, and they can kind of put their own, I guess, what's it? What's the right word? Their own, I don't know, energy, I guess, forward, and kind of make the fragrance their own. Does that make sense? So a fragrance that might be considered gentlemanly, you could make it disrespectful, even if it's considered respectful, depending on how you act, and it's that could be a fun experience as well. So more power to you, Claude Bay Sense. Wear what you like. I actually don't like fougères too much. I respect fougères a whole lot. I do. I have a review coming for y'all of Aqua de Parma's Colonia Intensa. It does have some fougere aspects, but I tend to not like full-on classical fougères. I do respect them. I do appreciate the smells of some of them, and I do really like Anateus. I might one day buy Anateus, but I tend to like some of these ones that are a little bit more Italian aspired and a little bit more, I guess, modern. So I hope that makes sense. The Ligue Pour Homme, for example. I know some gentlemen who like some of the heavier classic green fragrances, maybe like Polo Green, and I've heard some of them lament or kind of say that their opinion is that things like Platinum Egoist is not any good, and I think Platinum Egoist is a true classic that's still very wearable for just about anybody, but not everybody thinks the same. So, but Eau Sauvage, I think everybody just about respects Eau Sauvage. There's a lot of good stuff out there to explore. So more power to you. And if there is a stereotype, you definitely don't never feel like you have to fit that stereotype, no matter with whatever it is, if I can speak tonight. So, Rich Mitch says scent of the day is Ombre Nuit. Fantastic choice, classic, and a lot of people love it. A lot of people love that Ombre Nuit, and I respect it. For me, it has this like soapy, almost animalic thing in the the soapy floral heart that comes with that line of fragrances, and then it has a little bit of the animalic tones with the leather. To me, it's kind of interesting juxtaposition. It's kind of like a clash. I don't know how you feel about it, but it is. I can see why some people really like it though. Schism says scent of the day is Kajal Om. That one's nice. I need to get my nose on it. I have a suspicion that it's going to smell somewhat similar to Ganymede. I don't know if y'all smelled that fragrance. It's quite a good one, and I've heard a lot of fragrance reviewers speak highly of it. And I need to. I hope to afford a bottle of that. It almost smells a little bit like an ambrette, almost like a musky modern interpretation of what is that fragrance? Well, almost like tuxedo in a way, and it's really really nice. But to me, it smells more of like a upscale, unformal, everyday fragrance, and I hope that I can afford to wear that stuff all the time. But let's see here. I sent to the day I read. Ashmal Evoke Gold Veritas. Um, I don't know if I've tried that one. Tell us more about that one. It sounds interesting. So tell us more. Stephanie Deming says Rose's Vanille smells like sweet plastic on my skin. I was super disappointed. Yeah, it does come off as has this almost a little bit of a powdery nuance, and I do feel like powder can do all kinds of weird stuff on people's skin depending on their skin chemistry. So I'm sad that you had a bad experience with it. It doesn't come off that way on my skin, and I ended up actually giving that fragrance to my mom, and she actually really likes it. I don't think she's ever told me that she has that experience with it. So about the only fragrance that I've ever had actually come off plastic like, well, there is a fragrance called Cellophane by Serge Luton, so that one's kind of intentional. And then there's was it called Tom of England or something? I forget who makes it. It might be Etat Libre d'Orange. It's supposed to smell like a certain plastic thing, people might use protection, which is kind of an odd thing to make be inspired and want to put into a fragrance. But besides those two, I don't know of a lot of fragrances that smell, like plastic. I did smell. I think it was called. I forget who makes it. If it was Givenchy or Guerlain, I not remember right now. But it was called like what was it? Idol or Ideal? I don't know how to spell it. But anyways, it was very synthetic, and it came off to me almost smelling like super glue. I'd have to get back to y'all on exactly how to say that, but it wasn't. That's about the only one that I could think of like that. So, Evoke Gold is the Prada El Homme one. I hear a lot. It's a lot better. I don't know. I really don't know about Evoke Gold, but I'm sure they do a good job. Super Fat Bass says, Hi Ben. Fougere L'Aube in the morning. Here it now. Sample has been lying in the drawer for ages. Midnight here. So I don't think I've tried that Fougere L'Aube, and please forgive me for my pronunciations. I don't know. And sample has been lying in the drawer. Yeah, sometimes it takes us a while to get to a sample. Sometimes you almost worry if the sample's gone bad, but just keep them there, and it's like a mystery, and it's waiting for you. And there's a lot of beautiful stuff that's probably hidden away in our bunches of samples that we need to get back to. We need to test it again, and we need to give that fragrance a chance. So definitely, check out your samples, everybody. I'm sure that y'all have a box of them just like I do. So. Stephanie says, I have 4 or 5 Hydro Flask, and I can't live without them. So you know what I'm talking about. I kind of live for the. I kind of live with. I lived for years without one of these, and I don't know how I did it. Now I just kind of like live by this thing. It keeps everything really cold. Like if I put ice in it, it keeps it cold for at least 6 hours, and it's easy. It's just I just love this thing, and I don't know why. I don't have a collection of them, but I don't know. Maybe I'll buy something else. I do have a number of funny things like this though. Um, for some reason, I have a bunch of backpacks. Again an outdoorsman, and I guess I could try to sell them, but I'd lose a lot of money on how expensive those backpacks originally were, and then I want to build them out, and I don't know why I have this kind of desire, but I want to make them, fully like a complete kit. I guess is the best way to put it. So I want to have like the best of the best, like all the tools, all the tarps, all the sleeping bags, all the things that you would need. To do camping. So, but then then I have like 4 or 5 backpacks that are 75% done with a lot of money into them, and I don't need 4 or 5 of them. But I kind of have a desire. If every time I see a backpack, if it's not fully prepared for like an emergency, I'm like, I mean, just about anybody. I'm like, you should do something about that. I don't know why I have that urge, but hey, we're all. I hope that was funny, but maybe not. Let's see here. But here, anyways, Herod's nice. I don't know if y'all remember, but I do find that the supposedly some people say that Parfums de Marly Herod's been reformulated. I don't know if that's true. I never smelled an original or supposedly vintage, but when I did try Herod, I did notice that the vanilla to me in the fragrance did kind of poke out of the fragrance. It kind of had a high energy, a vibrancy about it. It almost acted like a clove, and it was one of the few fragrances that gave me a headache. And it just really doesn't work for me. That sweetness really is shouldn't be there, and it acts and how it comes through with the fragrance. It's just kind of strange. So maybe that's what they changed. Then maybe they went from a more natural vanilla to a more synthetic vanilla, and maybe they've corrected that at this point. I really don't know. I haven't smelled a new batch of Parfums de Marly Herod, but I remember everybody hyping up that fragrance, and then I tried it, and it did smell pretty good overall. Not as exciting as I thought it was in general, and then this sweetness, like really almost like synthetic high energy sweetness, was just came through with the fragrance and just was so persistent. It kind of was nauseating, but it's more power to you. Some people are popping in with their fragrances and sharing their sense of the day, and almost it's almost like I almost feel guilty. I hope I'm not beating you up. It's a fantastic. Enjoy what you want. I'm just talking about my personal experience. So let me know how if y'all fell in love with it. I remember some big fragrance reviewers, and I remember Street Scents with Al. Love that guy. I still think I need to double check. I haven't seen any pop-ups and notifications in a while, but he still does fragrance reviews from time to time. Y'all probably know about Street Scents. He's one of the OGs of the fragrance YouTube world and fragrance game. And I remember him when he was on the streets with Parfums de Marly Herod, and he let this lady smell it, and she loved that fragrance. She was head over heels in love with it. It seemed like that was the best fragrance she'd ever smelled before, and it might have been. And I think that impressed a lot of people. I think that's one reason that Herod got so popular, kind of, and built some of that momentum. So, how are you liking that code Absolute? Schism asks Ronald. Responding says, "I love it. It's very strong. If you don't like sweet fragrances, you may not like this, but if you do, then it's a must-have. Absolutely, it's very sweet, and it is kind of bold. It's very playful, and I think a lot of people like playful fragrances. Not everybody wants something very professional or very classy all the time. I think a lot of people like to smell really good and likable. And when you walk past somebody, you don't might not want to smell like an established or esteemed gentleman. Some people like to have that reaction where people are like, oh, that smells good, and be a little bit more maybe approachable, depending on who you live around, and I guess what kind of lifestyle you have. So I understand the sweet fragrances. I got Pure Excess Night recently, and by Paul Rabanne, and I'm actually really enjoying that fragrance. I'll get a review for y'all of that fragrance, and I do have some sweet stuff coming your way. I have Givenchy Pie Extreme, a review of that on the way, and I think y'all will enjoy my review. It's a pretty solid fragrance, and I think I saw again. It's another one of those fragrances like Amber Fever by Monsara, where a couple fragrance reviewers, some of the big dogs. I don't know if they got the fragrances before everybody else did, but they kind of gave it a lukewarm review, and they weren't, directly negative or anything. But then no other fragrance reviewers really seemed to buy it, and there really wasn't any excitement for that fragrance. And Givenchy Pie Extreme is a solid fragrance. It's a nice fragrance, and I do think it has a place. Just like Monsara, Amber Fever is actually a really darn good fragrance, and I'm happy to have it in my collection. So and get y'all some reviews of some good stuff like that. So hopefully you're looking forward to it. See, Fragrance Anotomy's in the house, says, hello, everyone. Hey, Fragrance Anotomy. Happy to see you pop in, my friend. How's life been treating you? How's the fragrance world been going for you? And I do appreciate you stopping by. Says, Schism says, nice. Thanks to Ronald. Absolutely. And that's wonderful that y'all are chatting amongst each other and helping each other out. That's a wonderful, beautiful thing. So, anyways, any questions for me? Anything that's been on your mind? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not too interesting tonight, or maybe some people have some fun plans or fun things to do. We got three loyal people, or three people right now. So I do appreciate that. And, what's been going on in your world, guys? In my world, I've been putting a lot of effort into not only YouTube but also Instagram, and I really I'm loving Instagram. I'd be interested to see if y'all like Instagram, if you've experienced it, or if you've made any friends on Instagram or not. I'm meeting a lot of awesome people there. Y'all are awesome as well, but also if you want to meet some new people and maybe you like posting pictures every day, I think that Instagram would be really fun for you guys. I see a lot of people, and maybe some, I guess a smaller amount of people like to post photos throughout the day in the Facebook groups and all those kinds of things. And Instagram is a wonderful place for that. If you like photos, if you're a photo kind of person, photogenic, and if you're, if you're good looking in pictures, but people just like seeing your fragrances, taking pictures of them, and talking about your fragrance. So I invite y'all over to Instagram. It's a lot of fun. I've actually had a lot better reception, and things have been going pretty well over there. So let's see here. I have opened an IG in a. I haven't opened IG in a couple of days now. Not a big fan of social media. Now I understand. Not everybody's into the social media scene, and I respect that completely. But if you are a fragrance person who wants to see what's trending and what everybody's into, and see everybody's fragrances, what they've been wearing, and what they've been excited about, and all that kind of stuff, I find that Instagram's really fun for that. And again, I don't know why, but I've never really connected to the Facebook groups that much. Some people are doing a good job, but it's not because of the trolling. It's not because of the infighting. I can understand that, and I've dealt enough with that I have a thick skin. So that's not exactly what scares me away. I just don't know. I guess I have adapted to social media enough. I kind of like things being fast paced. Some people don't like that at all. On Instagram, things move so fast. You might see a photo for a couple seconds when you're viewing things, and you have a couple seconds. People's attention spans are really low, so you have to grab people's attention and try to befriend people. But it's I think it's a wonderful thing. Um, so I followed you though. I think I got fed up with scrolling through Mr. Cologne's 20 million stories. Exactly, and you don't have to deal with stories either. There are stories, but there's the regular feed, so you can just scroll through the regular feed. I agree. Stories usually aren't so, to me, fascinating. I don't love Instagram stories that much, and I don't know how much if people really like them that much. I'm curious to see if people really like them. I do put some effort into stories, but at first I did put a lot of effort, and I was very creative with some of my Instagram stories. I think I don't know if I have an archive. I think if I can speak, I'm pretty I guess confident, or I salute my. No, that's not even a good way to say it. I I guess I'm satisfied. I did a good job with some of my stories, but I feel you. When somebody posts too many stories and they kind of overdo it, it kind of does get annoying. If it's kind of normal. Stories are only up for about 24 hours. So if somebody has five, maybe 10 at most, that's kind of normal. I'm not trying to criticize Mr. Cologne. He does his thing and he's very passionate. But, he's one of those guys that can have 20, sometimes even more stories. So it's one guy and you're clicking, and, it's one guy and there's like 20 things you have to click through. So, anyways, Stephanie says, I'm on a vanilla hunt right now, picking up Diptyque Eau Dual last week, and I'm waiting on an order from Van Cleef and Arpels Orchid Vanille. I bet you'll like that Orchid Vanille, and hopefully you got a good deal on that. Those Van Cleef and Arpels are very pretty well done as far as I know, and also you can find pretty good deals on those. I've seen some of those as cheap as $75, and they are high-end boutique fragrances, so that's wonderful. If you would like more of a delicate vanilla, more of a citrusy vanilla, I know we're getting into the fall months here, and you might want something deeper, richer, and sweeter. But what was it called? Like there was one called like Sunnyside or something to that effect from Juliet. Has a, I don't even know what I can say here on YouTube. Again, I got flagged a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm talking about. GHAG. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The brand. So that one, it was like Sunnyside or something like that. There's Elborn by Carnar Barcelona, and there's some really nice light vanillas. I don't know of too many actually vanilla heavy fragrances. I know that there's Vanilla Cake by Montal, which is supposedly a very heavy vanilla fragrance. And I'm trying to think of some other vanillas. I don't know of too many that are super super vanilla heavy. I don't own any in my collection. I have to have a balance of things with vanilla. I enjoy my oud vanilla by Monsara, but it does have a medicinal oud off the top. It's not just a sweet, happy-go-lucky, powdery, maybe a fluffy one. So, um, have you tried Cloud? Everybody was talking about Cloud by Ariana Grande for a while. I'm not too much into celebrity scents, but supposedly it was pretty good, and it was more of a like a cloudy vanilla Baccarat Rouge 540 kind of thing. That might be nice. So, anyways, vanilla fragrance wise, do y'all have any recommendations for Stephanie here? I'm trying to think of some. There is Coco Blanc by House of Matriarch, but it is terribly expensive. You could maybe, if you want to, wait for the 50% off, but it is natural. It doesn't have great longevity or projection, but it does smell pretty natural, so that could be nice. I just don't know of a lot of things that are purely vanilla heavy, so I'll have to get back to y'all. If I remember right, it was Alien Absolute by Mugler was also a really nice vanilla. Whispers in the Library is a nice smell of vanilla. I agree. It's to me, I don't actually notice the vanilla too much. It's very well blended, but I agree. It really softens the edges and adds a really nice sweetness to it. No problem. Absolutely, thumbs up. Also, if you really like vanilla, Stephanie, you might like benzoin or benzoine. You might want to look for some fragrances with that. There's, and I never know how to say it right. It's like, I think I'm messing up, but it's like Cabell or something to that effect. But it's from the high-end Yves Saint Laurent collection. See, Steph. Oh, no problem with the spelling there. Schism, no problem at all. Isn't there an amazing L'Occitane vanilla? I did share one of those. I can't remember the name anymore. I reviewed one of those, and I thought for the price when you, at the time when I did that review, it was about $70, and I thought it was one of the best vanillas for the money for 70. But then the supply dried up, and it's very hard to find. It's not. It's. I mean, the price is still higher than it should be, but it's not extreme. But if you are lucky to find one on eBay, I saw one time, and it was like double the price. It was like 150, and I don't think it's worth 150. So, fragrances are funny that way. Sometimes they come and go. And I don't know if I'd recommend that one, but maybe look into the House of L'Occitane or L'Occitane, how you're supposed to say it, and maybe they have a vanilla fragrance in stock from them. They do, I think, have pretty good quality from that brand, and I do think that you're looking at some of the good, the right places. I'm trying to think, what's another vanilla one? I want to say that there's one from Byredo, but I can't remember which one it is that a lot of people were liking. I can't remember, but anyways, do y'all want to talk about vanilla, or are there any other notes that y'all are excited about? I just have to let y'all know that I'm really excited for the darker fragrances. I'm very excited for the more complex fragrances. Sorry, that's a mosquito. And I'm excited for the colder weather. We get to pull out our more complex fragrances, our deeper fragrances, and our darker fragrances. And I had already had somebody ask me for my top 10 fall list. I'll get that to y'all pretty soon. I do want to get a transition from summer to fall list out real quick before we're truly into fall. Some people aren't really into fall yet. Some people already are. So I need to do that. So Eau de Bois La Occitane, that's the one. Yeah, definitely check that one out. If it's in stock, if it's a reasonable price, you can get it for a good price. Sorry. Uh, those the mosquitoes are really trying to get me tonight. So they're being pretty aggressive on me. They're flying all around. So, um, when are you going to start making your soaps? I have all the ingredients now, and I have the shapes. I'm going to start putting them together. My plan is actually to, when I hit 5,000 on Instagram, to actually, give away each person a bar of soap, gets maybe a little bit of their feedback when I do that big giveaway, and put some of my soaps in there for them. And I really want to get some feedback and see what y'all think about them, and maybe how I could improve them. But I need to stop, you know, I need to really go forward, push myself forward, and make those dreams happen because I've saved up my pennies and my little shekels, and already put a lot into this, and I need to just do it. And I worry about a website. I built a website before, and then I tried to make a blog out of it, and I also built a website one time, and that was a little bit more of a Shopify kind of thing, and trying to build a company, and neither of those things kind of worked out for me. And building up a website isn't the most expensive thing to do, but when you're playing around with pennies, it's kind of an investment, and I don't want to lose money I guess that's a fear kind of thing. You have to risk money to make money. So, Stephanie Dimming, I'm actually looking for a bottle of that myself now. Yeah, check it out. Eau des Bois by L'Occitane. They if that's the one I reviewed, I think it was the one I reviewed. It's actually a pretty darn good vanilla, I think. But again, there is the vanilla cake by Montal, and I'm sure there's a couple niche fragrances out there that are vanilla forward or vanilla dominant. I just can't think of too many on the top of my head. And I'm sure after we finish this video tonight, my friends, I'm sure that I'll remember one or two and I'll kick myself. But there are some really nice things, and if you like vanilla, at least I would assume that you like iris. So look for a gourmand iris, and that might do a really good job for you. There is Spiritus Double Vanille, of course. I think everybody knows Spiritus Double Vanille. It's a little bit of a dark, boozy vanilla fragrance, really well done. I'm sure that you know of that one already. But off the top of my head, it's I can't remember. Want to talk leather? That's the other hunt I'm on. Absolutely, leather's a beautiful note. Leather's actually one of my favorite notes. But I do have to say that most of the leathers I have, I think lean masculine. But let me know. Would you be, do you like fragrances that to some people might be considered masculine, or what kind of leather are you looking for? There are some really nice leathers out there. I think that Ganymede that I mentioned also is kind of unisex. I think a lady could pull that one off, and that one does have, some leathery nuances. I think that as far as as the most ladies might want to go with leather. Again, I'm not sure with your taste there, Stephanie. You might be able to pull off one of my favorites. It's called Polo Supreme Leather, and it has a really nice honey note. It's pretty sweet. It's very smooth. It's very well rounded, and some people actually think the longevity is not great, so it's not going to choke you out. I don't think it's going to be too much or too powerful. It does have a presence, but it comes off, and I think it does a really solid job. Also has a lot of that sweetness to it, so. I get a solid 6 or maybe even 7 hours at least out of it, and it is a jacket kind of fragrance. So if you spray it up on a jacket, it even though it's not a beast, it hangs on for a long time. So I love Tom Ford's ombre leather and effing fabulous. If you're bold enough to wear ombre leather, you're a bold enough lady to wear most leathers out there. There are some darker leathers like Tuscan leather, but not a lot of people aren't comfortable with Tuscan leather. So I don't even want to wear that fragrance all the time, even though I really respect and I actually really like the smell of Tuscan leather. It's kind of one of those fragrances. It's like, when do I wear this thing? Like on a winter afternoon when I'm reading a book. It's one of those fragrances that it's beautiful, it's well made. I just don't know when I would wear that thing. So, what's the main difference between ombre leather and Tuscan leather? Great question, Ronald Japinga. Tuscan leather has a raspberry top. It's often mentioned. It's kind of fleeting, but it does make it interesting. Then it kind of goes into a little bit of a darker, a little bit of a richer leather fragrance. Definitely some spices going on with Tuscan leather. A little bit darker, a little bit bolder, complex. It's actually very very strong. So not only is it a fragrance that kind of has a big personality, it actually performs very well, and I think that's another reason why some people find it a little bit a little bit unwearable. Ombre leather is a lot more wearable. There is a 2016 ombre leather, but I could talk about that if you'd like me to. But the new bottle is actually they put it into their new line, the Tom Ford. Their more affordable range. It's still a Tom Ford. But it's about half the prices of their private blend. It's about $180 if I remember right. Actually, the fragrance for one point, and I kicked myself for not buying them. But after the fragrance was released, a couple months afterwards, maybe they produced too many. There was a little bit too much supply than the demand. I really don't know why, but or maybe there was just a bunch of the bunch of the people who bought into it, for the hype or whatever, actually ended up, maybe they were just selling their bottles. But I remember seeing some bottles of ombre leather for like $80, and I kicked myself. I should have got myself one of those for $80. But really nice fragrance. I do think it has an almost medicinal aspect to it, just a little bit of a hint, but it's a solid fragrance through and through. It's a little bit more clean, and it comes off maybe a little bit more of like a white or like a blanche type of leather, but it's a really nice fragrance, ombre leather. Yeah, but it's kind of simplistic, even though it smells really good. But that might not be bad. But it's very wearable. It definitely is more unisex, and it's also, I think, a great fragrance for layering. If you want to have a fragrance and layer it with something, you can add a lot of leather to it, and it does a great job of that. So, um, some big differences. They're definitely not the same at all. I wouldn't even say that Tuscan leather is just. I would not say that it's like ombre leather with just spices and a raspberry on the top. I feel like they're very different fragrances. Tuscan leather certainly has a lot of that dark, almost patchouli Tom Ford DNA. It has a lot of that. It might be and it might honestly be maybe one of the darkest, Tom Fords that's out there. So. Stopping by for a while. How are you doing, Ben? Looking sharp with the short hair. Thank you, No Notes. I appreciate that. And I hope that you're doing well too, my friend. Y'all know this guy. He's an Instagram, I guess, leader. He's an Instagram master. And he's doing a really good job too. He's cool. And check him out on Instagram if you haven't. He's a cool guy. So I was talking about that a little bit earlier. No Notes. With my personality and what I like to do. And again, I started on Fragrantica. I kind of have a better experience on Instagram, and people tend to like me more on Instagram than they do here on YouTube. I don't know what it is with YouTube. It's I guess I don't know, it's trendy. I don't know what it is, and it's a funny world, algorithm wise and all that. But we've been talking about fragrances for the fall and the winter. If you want to jump in, that's what we're talking about now. And we're looking for some vanilla fragrances earlier. If you can think of some like vanilla forward, vanilla dominated fragrances for Stephanie, she's looking for some of those. And we're just talking about some of our favorite things we're looking forward to wearing in the cold weather. I really like gourmands, but I do like leather. Leather's one of my favorite things. I love my leather oud by Floris. It certainly is a little bit more mature. It's certainly a little bit more of a fragrance that comes off as maybe a little bit old school. And again, I won't say the fragrance reviewer's name, but I think they ended up buying a sample because I spoke so highly of it, and they actually said they really disliked it. I think that it scared them off. It actually is not a very oud heavy fragrance. It's not really animalic. It's not really scary at all, but it is a little bit more almost dry in a way. It's almost has a little bit of ruggedness to it, and it certainly comes off as almost like the saddle chaps or the I can't even think, or just the saddle, like what you sit on top of a horse. It kind of has that kind of smell about it. So um, fall, winter, and vanilla. Let's see. I love Casamarati Lira. I've heard very good things about that fragrance. I do want to smell it, but it's getting easier to get. But at one point, I'm not sure, is that one still exclusive or not. I know that it was very hard to get, but it was actually very desirable, and a lot of people were kind of bragging if they had it. It was kind of something that you could brag about because everybody wanted it and very few people had it. So, um, and Molly's Dries Van Noten is a classy vanilla. I have not tried that one. I That name sounds familiar, but I've not tried that one. And some of the most interesting leathers on the market are Carnage Sondor 70. Yeah, that is an interesting one, and I do like Carnage Barcelona and Penhaligon's Halfeti. That is one that I've had on my try list. That Penhaligon's for a very long time. I've never tried it, but I do want to get my nose on it. I do want to try that one. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would be in love with it, but I still do want to try it because I've heard so many good things about it. So, what gourmands are you most looking forward to wearing? Um, One of my favorite gourmands. It's a little bit of an oud, but it's 24 gold oud from the House of Scent Story. It's actually pretty affordable. You can get a full size bottle for about 55 odd dollars. It's kind of like Rasasi in a way. And if you do like the spicier leather, again, going back to Tuscan leather real quick for a second, if you're on a budget or maybe you want something a little bit more wearable and you really just don't want to pay those prices. Rasasi's La Yucawam, you probably heard a lot about it. It's actually an outstanding leather. It actually, to me, is more wearable. I'll do a full-length review. I don't want to spoil the review. The raspberry is not as sweet, but what the raspberry does is it lasts longer. It actually, to me, feels like a bigger part, a bigger component of the fragrance, which I think actually softens up the leather, and it's also not as dark. So it still has, I mean, awesome performance. Maybe not as strong as the Tuscan leather performance wise, but still easily will get you through a workday. It still has a lot of personality. So check out La Yucawam if you like some spice and a little bit, maybe a little bit of a daring leather to some people, but it's still wearable. It's still really nice. So, but anyways, let's see here. But getting back to the gourmands, some fragrances that I really like, gourmand wise. I'm trying to think through my collection. What are some of my favorite ones? Well, I really do want to get. I don't have a lot of fragrances. I guess that are purely gourmand, but one of them that is, besides this one, I don't have too many. But Ferragamo Uomo, fantastic fragrance. More of a tiramisu coffee type of fragrance. Smells almost like a golden cake and coffee. I don't own a lot of the ones yet that I really want. I want Ristretto Cafe from Montal. I want a lot of fragrances. Actually, one of the ones I'm planning on buying is called Blackmail from the House of Kerosene, and that one's more of a smoky, dark berry type of gourmand fragrance. I really need to get that one in my collection. Really, really like it. I don't know if it's considered purely a gourmand, but it's going to be something that's warm and cozy, and it reminds me a little bit of the holidays. Again, Amber Fever by Mancera, really good stuff. I'm trying to think of my collection over there. Um, in my, it's what do I got? What do I have in there that's a gourmand? I don't have a lot that I think are purely gourmand, but I have some that are kind of leaning on that edge. So one of them is Peach Blue, a clone of Blue Azuli by the Armani Privé line from Fragranza. Really solid fragrance, really well done, and is probably the closest thing that smells somewhat similar, a distant cousin to, you know, to John Paul Gaultier's Le Male. It's not the same, it's not a clone, but the closest thing to that fragrance that I kind of appreciate. So that one's really nice. It's got some vanilla to it, but if you like that, it might be an affordable one. And that one's unisex too. I almost forgot to mention that one. You might want to check out the Armani's their high end exclusive collection. They have a fragrance called Blue Lazuli or Lapis Lazuli or something like that in the blue bottle, and really well done, beautiful crafted bottles, which is really nice. But the juice is what matters, and is the juice good? Oh yes, it is. It might be a little bit soft for people who want beast mode. They're still solid performers, but they're a little bit more, I guess, kind of classy, or I guess a little bit more sensible than I guess a beast mode. Some people would say. So really nice stuff. So let's get back to the comments. Sorry, I ranted and raved a little bit there. Say there, Stephanie. Thank you for your comments. They're always really good. Nose No Notes says Lyra is really fun. A full on gourmand vanilla. I love it. It's available everywhere here. The 30 mils are often out of stock though. Yeah, it's a fragrance that flies off the shelves, so it is getting more available. I have heard that. I still think it's really popular. I still hear people talking about it from time to time. So that seems to be a very popular niche fragrance. So definitely check out Lyra. Check it out. Jay Demon says, hi there. I like your haircut. Well, I appreciate you too, my friend. Thank you for that. Just joining at Ronald Japinga. I like Tuscan leather, but can't stand ombre leather. Too many florals come out. Oh, and on my skin, but not in a good way. No, I agree. Ombre leather certainly does have a almost I don't want it's hard to describe, almost like a herbaceousness to on my skin and to my nose. It's not exactly floral, but I could see why you see florals. It almost smells like imagine a bouquet of flowers, and you chop them all up together. It kind of smells like that. You decide to make a salad out of flowers, and it has a little bit of that tucked away, like underneath the tablecloth or underneath the skin of the opening. At least that's when I mostly smell that of ombre leather, and it is a little bit odd, but it kind of makes it interesting in a weird way. It kind of goes away, so it doesn't bother me too much. But I respect that completely. Tuscan leather is the OG. It's a fragrance, of a guy who wants to smell like the boss. You're gonna be like the master. You could be a guy walking around with like a black hat and a cane and be the boss man. So it's a good one. It certainly is. Randy Hader says. Tartile Silver by Arabian Oud is a great vanilla frag. I don't remember that fragrance, or I don't know if I've ever heard of that fragrance. I'll have to check it out. From the House of Arabian Oud. I've heard pretty good things about that house. I bet it is a good one. The Arabian houses, often do a good job. Some of them are some of them are making clones, which a lot of people don't like, but some of them are, really using synthetics and making them powerful, and making fragrances that have a lot of personality. And they usually aren't. Sometimes they're actually pretty affordable. Sometimes are actually pretty well priced for what they are. So definitely worth checking out. So Nose No Note says I blind tried Helfetti. Amina Deco sent it to me for the blind smell video we did. Really enjoyed it. Would have missed it otherwise. Exactly. We all support each other. There's so many fragrances out there. There's hundreds and thousands, and if we all support each other and help each other. There's been a couple fragrances that I would have never found without you, beautiful people. There was somebody in the live, and they suggested Kenzo's Jungle to me. And I took a risk on it, and he said he knew that I would love it. I respected his opinion, and I bought it. And by golly, that guy was exactly right, 100% right. It's not for everybody. I'm getting off track here real quick. I'm going to do a full length review. I almost want to wait till spring. Maybe I'll do that. I'll do the review sooner. But it's a mate fragrance, so it feels like a caffeinated green tea, and it has some animalic notes underneath. And it also has almost a very smooth feel, but it definitely has some kind of herbaceous kind of quality, something supporting it, almost like a clary sage. So Really nice fragrance. I really appreciate it. But if you detest anything animalic, you might not go for it. But I think it's very well blended. And if you like tea as well, you might really want to check it out. I don't want to beat up on Zoologist. Zoologist's a good house. They have lots of really creative fragrances, but it actually smells more like I was expecting Elephant to smell like. Kenzo's Jungle, and honestly, I prefer it, especially for the price. It's more wearable. I think to me, it's more likable, and it's a lot more affordable. So don't tell zoologists though. I do respect them though. Camel is a really nice one going into the fall. If you like leather, the Camel by Zoologist. So I just said that, and then I said if I'm gonna kind of beat up, I have to say something nice. So definitely check out Camel by Zoologist. I'm not just saying that to be nice. It's a great fragrance. It has dates, so it has this really fascinating, sweet, almost raisin like sweetness to it. It does have a tiny bit of animalic, but it's blended in, just adding some character into in the dry down, and very nice leather fragrance. It's well composed and quite good. Lots of personality. So let's see here. I'd take La Ukulum over Tuscan Leather, even if they were the same price. That's a bold statement. No notes, and we appreciate. At least I appreciate your boldness. I don't know if I would pay the same price for them, but they're outstanding, and I'm with you. I don't want to spoil my review, but 100%, if y'all want to know, looking forward into fall fragrances, I really encourage guys, ladies and gents, encourage everybody to get into, maybe some new notes that you're not familiar with that do work very well in the cold and can have you smelling amazing and really outstanding. Coffee is a great note for that. Leather, tobacco, some of these deeper, darker, richer notes. Maybe getting yourself into a deeper, maybe a little bit more of a complex amber that you've ever gotten. Some of those fragrances can work so well in the colder temperatures and can stand up to the colder temperatures. Because again, y'all know this, but citruses don't really project off the skin very well, especially when they're EDTs and they're not very good performers in general, and some of those softer fragrances. So you really need something that's really, really strong that kind of really wants to leap off your skin, because you don't have the temperature that makes the fragrance want to evaporate. You often don't have the sunlight, and you're maybe wearing thicker clothes anyways. So you got a lot of things that really are holding a fragrance back from projection. So see here. Um, but I agree, La Ukwam is outstanding. If you were to get your first leather fragrance, I think that La Ukwam by Rasasi or Polo Supreme Leather, if you can find it for a decent price. I think it is discontinued, and at some point the price probably is going to jump on that one too. So get it sooner than later if you can. But if you can get it for $60 or $70, it's a great fragrance as well, Polo Supreme Leather. And again, I do want to mention that one because I do think it was really underrated. But I think it's another one of those fragrances, just like Dunhill Century. Dunhill Century came out, and it was about $115 fragrance, and it's a fancier bottle. When people see Dunhill, they're expecting $80 fragrances, maybe a little bit less. And a lot of people in the U.S. market were Dunhill Century got really discounted, really cheap, and they almost kind of had this reputation, almost treating Dunhill like a second tier or a lower tier designer house. And we're expecting it to become really cheap, $20, $30 range. Dunhill Century has gotten that cheap. I think the prices will become more normal, but they didn't sell terribly well. It's an outstanding, clean, soapy sandalwood fragrance that's highly underrated. But but then it was so underappreciated and nobody was buying it. Then the prices crashed to like $35, and I got mine for about that, shipped to my door for the 4.2 ounce full size bottle, which is bigger than normal. No, it's not a 4.2; it's a 4.5 if I remember right. It's an odd sized bottle, but beautiful, beautiful fragrance. But anyways, getting back to Polo Supreme Leather, it was a boutique fragrance, 130, maybe 120 if you're lucky, but 140, kind of $140 fragrance in some places. So that if you can find it for the $60, $70 mark, discounted, a Polo Supreme Leather, that's the cheapest you're going to get it. It's not a cheap Polo fragrance. It wasn't a fragrance that was released at $80 and that you can get it for 30 or so. And Polo is a brand that never goes extremely cheap anyways. A lot of them are in the $30-$40 range anyways, or more, even more. So this it's a higher end. Anyways, I'm trying to say it's a higher end polo fragrance. Hope that makes sense. So Jay Demon says, thanks. I'll make sure to test them out on skin first. Absolutely. Before you ever buy a fragrance, if you can, test it. I do blind buy. I'll admit to it, and I'm sure that a lot of y'all blind buy as well. But you do take a risk, and then you sometimes have to sell things and take a loss on it. And that's just the name of the game. As time goes on, you figure out which perfumers you like, you figure out what styles of fragrances you like, maybe what notes, and you're better to make. You're a lot more skilled at making an educated guess. I mean, we still mess up. I still mess up. I don't. I still sometimes blind buy things from on occasion, and I'm like immediately like, oh, this one's not going to work. I have to sell it, and I know that I'm not going to be in love with it. Then that's just a part of how it is. So, but it's exciting to wait for something in the mail. I actually have something that coming in like that. It's a complete risk. It's a complete blind buy, but I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist, guys. I'd been watching somebody list it. It's a brand new fragrance, sealed in the bottle, never been sprayed, and they'd listed it for like $65 plus $8 shipping, and it's a fragrance. I'm gonna save it. I do want to save it for a blind. A blind smell and a unboxing for you guys. I'm gonna keep a few secrets. I can't tell y'all everything, but it it's $100 is the cheapest you can find it on a website, and I think it's in a foreign country. And I think it's in a more expensive currency than U.S. About the cheapest I've seen it is about $140, in U.S. dollars, and I got it for, what was it, $50 with 8 shipping plus tax. I got it for about 60, so I got it for less than half, brand new, sealed in the box. And I like the notes. It's pretty highly rated on Fragrantica, and I'm hoping that I got another steal of the century. I hope that I like it. If I didn't like it, hopefully I'm able to flip it or trade it. So we'll have to see how that goes. So look forward to that. I got some fun stuff for you guys. So Savior of Fare, is that how you say it? Fiore, has nice smooth coffee note. That's as close as you'll get. I'll get to a gourmand. No, I feel you. I like a lot of fragrances that are semi gourmands. I like fragrances that can teeter that aspect of being really sweet, but they have to have a nice balance of richness. I usually don't go for fragrances that are full on dessert smelling, but I can understand where people do. One of the ones that I did really like and I did connect to was Mugler's Pure Tonka. But I don't talk about it too much because it's discontinued and the price is already creeping up. It's already getting expensive, and I don't want to talk about something, even though I really like it. And I personally thought it was the best from the Mugler line. And I'm really sad to see it go. It's a shame. But hopefully some fragrance, I can find one in the future that captures a similar emotion and a similar feeling, and I can recommend it instead of that fragrance. But I haven't smelled anything so far that smells exactly the same or too same. More of a Tonka, coffee, like a tobacco-rich sweetness kind of fragrance. So really nice stuff. I have Cafe Cabanel at the top of my wish list of gourmands. I've been wanting to try that one too. Cafe Cabanel looks gorgeous. It looks very well done, and I got to try that one. Soul Cafe, absolutely, definitely that one's a really nice one. And if y'all are looking for a coffee scent, if you want, and I don't want to hype them up. Y'all know that they've sent things to me in the past, but if you are looking for a very bold, authentic, to me, I can't wear it, but it's a very, very strong coffee fragrance, authentic. Check out Happy Land Studios. They got one. Their cafe, I think it's Cafe Noir, Cafe something, if I remember right, and it's a very, very bold coffee. One that I actually really like, and I actually need. It's on the buy list. Is a Solane Hildes Boissimo. Now this one smells like an Italian bakery. This one smells like buttery croissants and your Italian coffee on the side, and it's gorgeous, guys. It is a little bit more delicate. I do want to get, even though I don't know if the performance is what it should be, maybe I'll want the performance to be better. All I know is when I smelled that fragrance, it was like walking into an Italian bistro and somebody's, a fresh cup of coffee, and I was like, I gotta have this. I was like, it was like magnetic. I connected to it, and that's probably my favorite coffee fragrance. I probably smelled Ristretto Intense Cafe is really nice. If you are a lady, you might connect a little bit more to Intense Cafe by Montal than the Ristretto. The Ristretto to me is still very balanced. It's still not a coffee dominated fragrance. To me, it's still very balanced. And if you're a real coffee head, a real coffee lover, Ristretto's Cafe by Montal actually still might not have enough coffee for you. I actually understand. I actually would like it to have a little bit more coffee. But anyways, I've tried to say it a couple times. I try to get the word out. I hope that people know that Intense Cafe is kind of, a lot of people kind of suggest it as the best coffee fragrance for the money. It kind of is in a way, but the rose really comes through in the fragrance, and Intense Cafe by Montal really is more of a rose fragrance than a coffee fragrance. It's very well done, very charming, very likable, but you have to like the Montal almost powdery rose to get that fragrance. And I know a lot of guys who have tried that fragrance and they were expecting, a rough and tumble, rugged, jagged, black coffee for my black soul kind of fragrance, and it didn't do it. It didn't do it. So, anyways, let's get back to the comments. Nose no nose note says actually a new fave of mine would be how do you say that? Algebra, or is it Alhambra? Eye of Seven Hills. Ooh, that sounds mysterious and special. I bet you'd like that smell. It's a tobacco boozy, ooty, creamy. Man, you're speaking my language, man. You're speaking my language, and I'll definitely be checking that out. I've actually had my eye on that brand. I actually was kind of scared away from that brand at first because they have some fragrances like inspired by the Garden of Babylon, and some fragrances like that, and some fragrances of like paradise, and they seem to. I'm sure they're very beautiful, but a lot of them were kind of floral focused or kind of floral heavy, and I do respect florals. I do like a good floral, but to me, florals have to be more of a supporting note. There's very few fragrances that I can really wear for myself personally that are floral dominated. One of those is 10 a.m. Flirt by Kieran NYC. Y'all know that's a gardenia that for some reason I'm just down with that gardenia, and it works for my soul. Even though I've talked to some guys and they say this stuff smells way too feminine, and they said their wife actually really liked it a lot more than they did. I don't know why, but that it works. It works. That sounds like heaven. An Italian bistro. Yes, it's called Boissimo from the house of Solani Hilde or Hildi. I don't know how you're supposed to say it in Italian. The Italiano. So just search. It's a Lucky Scent exclusive. Go to luckyscent.com. I'm not affiliated. Sometimes I get things for free, but I'm very honest for it, to y'all and with y'all. And some people think that everything I review is for free. No, and I don't even have a bottle of Boissimo. I wish I had a bottle. I don't. But I'm not affiliated. I wish that Lucky Scent wanted to hire me. Please, if you know the people who at Lucky Scent, I'll be on your videos. Y'all have seen some of those Lucky Scent videos, haven't you? They have somebody who works there, probably at their fragrance counter, and shows a cup fragrance and does a little 5-minute fragrance review. I can do those reviews. I can do an amazing job. I can dress up a little bit snappier, and I would love to do that kind of stuff, but I don't. Who knows if that'll happen? But anyways, check it out. Really check it out. They did a wonderful job. It's on Lucky Scent. I think it's not a super expensive one either. I think it was like 180 or something like that. But I don't know if y'all have noticed that a lot of fragrance prices are creeping up. There's actually, because of what's going on in the world, a lot of things aren't being produced, and there's a lower supply of everything. So even because of the ingredients going into things, supply and demand, things are actually getting more expensive. And I don't want to say a certain word, but y'all know what happens with more money, lots of money being printed and put. I got a toad or something over there. But anyways, a lot of money being put into the in the currency being put into an economy. Y'all know what happens to the money, supply and demand. Just think about it. So I think that actually is coming for us. And I've seen some Bulgari fragrances and some other brands that you might think are $80 fragrances. You might think I mean, even at the department store, at your Macy's, Dillard's, whatever it is, you might think that's an $80 fragrance. Go on these people's websites. The days of people talking about $80 fragrances might be over. That those days might be completely gone, my friends, which is kind of crazy. Even for these fragrances, some of them are as high as $113, like for a Bulgari. $113, imagine you just average Joe walking into a Macy's. That's a lot of money. But times do change. I do have my grandpa who's still alive. He remembers when he could get a full combo meal at McDonald's for a quarter. The whole meal, the burger, the fries, the soda, and all, for a quarter. And but that was a long time ago. But I'm just letting y'all know that things are getting kind of crazy right now. So agreed. I love Intense Cafe. It's more it's the most complimented one too, but I wouldn't say it's a coffee scent. It's more rose first with semi coffee sweetness. I agree. And it actually is a really good charmer. It actually does smell really good, and it does get positive reactions. And it does seem to be a Montal that has a good balance of things. Some Montal fragrances are too much. Some Montal fragrances are a little bit overbearing, and you do have to be perhaps a little bit careful on the sprays. But I do have to say that Intense Cafe is kind of one of the most popular. Maybe it might be the most. I hear more people talking about Intense Cafe more than any other Montal, so it could be the most popular one. I'm not sure. I don't have sales figures. I wish I did. I had all the details. So true. I have several Alhambra samples. I think most are floral, although most are darker, like Black Orchid or Rose Oud styles. They're extracts too, but hard to find bottles. I'll definitely have to check them out. I've had my eye on that brand. Tio Cabanel, like you mentioned, you know about all these brands. There's some beautiful stuff out there. I've had my eye on quite a few of them. I really gotta try them. A lot of people are still talking about the Electromus. I think that's how you say it. It's a new niche brand on the scene, and they seem to be high quality. They seem to be doing really well. I got to get my eye on those. And Amor Oud is also another house. They've been out for a little while now, but I think they're kind of flying under the radar. They aren't getting appreciated as much, and they do have oud in the name, so maybe that scares away people. But they actually have some really nice fragrances. They have one, I forget if it's like Whetstone or Silverstone, but actually is a really nice office fragrance if you gents are watching my channel and you want something really clean and crisp and citrusy like a vetiver scent. It's actually outstanding. So Electromus is starred by Michael Bodie, who also starred Boadicea, and he's now doing Nosegasm, a new brand. Man, you're on top of it. I might have heard that connection with Boadicea, but I didn't even know about Nosegasm. Yeah, see, I didn't even know that was a thing. So you're the man with the knowledge. This guy's got some knowledge here, and he's connected, and he's up to date with a lot of things. So we're happy to have you, No Notes. It's you're he's a big dog on Instagram, and he's it's almost like talking to one of these really big fragrance reviewers like Redolescence or one of these guys. He's got the knowledge. I mean, he knows what's going on. So that's awesome. I just got some Boadicea samples. Well, I'm jealous of you. I need to try those. Those Boadicea samples look really really nice. I don't know if I've tried them yet. I want to try. There was one Complex. There was one called Imperial. There's one called Seductive, and there's a few other ones I want to try. So I think there was like a Blue Sapphire one that a lot of people seem to really really like, but we'll have to see about that. So, awesome. So Jay Demon says sorry I didn't catch the exact name of the Italian bistro. Lucky said I'll try to type it in. Can I type it in here? Can I type? No, I'm not allowed to type. I wish that they would allow me as a YouTuber to type it in here. Search HILDE on LuckyScent.com. It's Solani Hildi. The fragrance is called Boissimo. It's Italian. I probably can't spell it to save my life, but it's something like BOUISSIMO, something like that. If there's a way to search coffee fragrances that maybe can help, maybe if you search my jumbled Italian English into the Google search bar, maybe it'll help you find it. I hope that you can. I've looked at it on Lucky Scent. I know it's there. I'm sorry that I can't type in here to help you. So let's see here. Sorry I didn't catch the exact name. So did that help you, Jay Dimon? Hope that I did help you. No Note says Far from Redolescence, but thank you. Absolutely, you're one of those guys, and you got a good presence about you. So, what's going on, Ben? Hey there, Abraham. Happy to see you pop in. We're actually getting kind of. It's getting kind of late. It's getting kind of dark. Hopefully, you guys can still see me. Am I here? Anyways, we're getting kind of late. You popped in, but I think we're going to go on for a few more minutes. But probably do need to get this wrapped up. I have gotten bitten by mosquitoes a little bit, but I'll survive. I do this for y'all. But the mosquitoes are still alive, and they're trying to hold on. They know that their time is about to end. It gets cold. I mean, especially if it ends up freezing, they're definitely the mosquitoes are goners. So let's see here. A blue sapphire is the only one I've tried so far. I love it, but 650 euro. That's a lot of money. So they kind of made it hard on themselves there. Yeah, I mean, it's it sounds like they're spectacular quality, but that is high price tag. That's an expensive one. In U.S. dollars, I forget the transfer rate. I think that there's like what is it right now? There's it's like what 78 cents to 1 euro. So that would be like tack on 20%. So that'd be something like getting close to $800 U.S. dollars for that. That's a lot. That's a lot of coin. That's a lot of shekel. So thoughts on Invictus? Let's see, BBB collection. I don't know what that collection is. Is that a new flanker or some kind of new fragrance from Paco Rabanne's Invictus? I'm curious about want to support, but the 200 price tag. I don't know much about that Invictus collection. Um, tell me exactly who is that or who they're doing that. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm not being of much help, but $200 is expensive. You have to love a fragrance to be willing to pay for it. Even $200 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money to me, at least, and I know that's a lot of money to you, and a lot of other people out there. So, Hilde Solani, is that how you say it? Boshishim? I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Yeah, that's it. Just search in HILDE into that search bar at Lucky Scent, and you should be able to find it. So, thanks for the name again. That helps a lot. I hope it does, and I hope that you look into that fragrance and maybe get yourself a sample and see if you like it. I know that when I smelled that fragrance, it had that buttered croissant, coffee, Italian bistro type of smell, and it was gorgeous. I was just really impressed with it, so I definitely want to get myself a bottle. It's on the buy list. It's not on the wait list. It's not on the try again list. It's not on the maybe one day list. This is on the buy list. Whenever I get around to affording it. So, thank you. Yes, Stephanie Deming. Well, I try to help as much as I can. So, yeah, I was just popping in, and we'll check out the video later. Enjoy the night, Abraham. Thank you so much for popping in. Appreciate you. And I'm sorry that I know that you're busy and you have everything to do. And I will be on tomorrow night, so hopefully you can pop in about 6 p.m. Central and definitely have a bit of this conversation. So. Big Beard Business. That's what I thought, but I don't know. Is Invictus having a collaboration with Big Beard Business? I really don't know. I do watch Big Beard Business. I think he's a cool guy, but I don't remember seeing anything about that recently. So, chasing my toddler while trying to participate. A Navitus. Okay, that makes sense. No problem. In and I was like Invictus, Paco Rabanne. What is this? And I was like, and in my mind, I was like, that's possible, but why is it $200? And I was like, But Navitus makes more sense. A Navitus Big Beard Business collaboration. Yeah, maybe they sat down with Big Beard Business and they're like, Big Beard, what kind of fragrance would you make if you could make a perfume? Maybe it's like his own bespoke perfume, and Big Beard is like, I want these notes. What does he want? He wants like, I don't know. He wants coffee and rum, and I don't know what else Big Beard would throw in there. Maybe something crazy like some tuberose, and I don't know what Big Beard Business would throw in his fragrance, but it's going to be some strong stuff probably. I'd like to try it. I haven't tried Navitus fragrances at all. One of these days I'll get around to it, but even with their samples being on sale, they're the Discovery set, which I don't even think it has all their fragrances. What was it? Even on sale, supposedly half off was still what, $70-$80, something like that. And again, maybe I'll have enough money to throw around at some point, but $80 for a discovery set, and I'm not in the sampling mood. I did that for a while. I've spent hundreds at Lucky Scent on samples and other places, and I don't feel like doing samples right now so much. So I have a lot of niche and a lot of fragrances that are on the buy list, and I want to focus on the buy list before I find more things that I want to buy, and then be sitting there with a big list of things I want to buy, but I'll have none. I have none of them. So there's always things to explore, but I'm putting exploration a little bit on the back burner right now, trying to get some of these fragrances that I've really been wanting for a while. So I'm hyped too. Yeah, I bet it'll be good. I don't think Big Beard Business likes any bad fragrances. I don't remember him liking anything that even that was somewhat you could say that was bad. I think a lot of these guys have a lot of these fragrance reviewers have pretty good noses for the most part. So, um, it's going to be bold, and it's probably going to be sweet. So that's a good thing. So my bank account is giving me the side eye though. Yeah, I know. They're like, you gonna do it? You gonna do it again? What you thinking over there? Smack you upside the head. X straight to Burberry Touch. Absolutely, Ronald. That would be hilarious. Yes, Big Beer Business does have a soft spot for his Burberry Touch. If I remember right, didn't he buy like 6 backup bottles? I remember watching that. He loves his Burberry Touch, and he probably sprays it on and puts a heck of a lot of his sprays on. He probably sprays 20 sprays of Burberry Touch when he goes out the door, and more power to him. That is a good fragrance. It is a solid release, and a really good designer fragrance. I should talk more about it. I should get myself one of those. I do think a lot of people have made jokes at that the bottle shape and Burberry's expense. I don't know what the heck Burberry was thinking, but I don't know why you made your bottle like that, Burberry. But it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing. So now you can get all three 350 mils for 115 plus shipping. 15 mils still too expensive. I agree. That supposedly is an amazing deal and it's cheaper than ever and all this stuff. I mean, that is 45 mils, so that is for a niche fragrance. That is kind of a small bottle, and a small bottle for 115 bucks with shipping. That's not bad, but I kind of want to discover them all. I kind of want to smell them all and not have to pay a lot of money to see if I even like them. Spending 115 bucks on fragrances that I don't know if I will even love them or not. For me at this point, I just don't want to take that risk unless I'm crazy about it. And when I'm finding deals like this, again, guys, I found a fragrance. I got it for about $60 or so, including the shipping and the taxes. I got it for a little bit over 60. It's essentially a $140 fragrance, brand new, sealed in the box. I'm happy about that, and it's a fragrance you don't see every day. Not everybody knows about it, and I'll let y'all know about that one soon. That'll be fun to show. So. The small samples have been out of stock for a year. Yeah, I never see them in stock, and I'm not gonna be on a wait list or check the website every 5 seconds to try to fight somebody for samples. And also, if I do buy samples, I want to buy all the ones I like in one shopping purchase and like in the cart. So I have to have 3 or 4 samples probably in the cart at the same time, and that just hasn't happened. All the fragrances I want haven't been in stock at the same time, for a while. So I don't know what else could I do. So said that's the worst thing about the brand easily. Yeah, and I've heard good things. I'm not trying to put down on Navatus. I've heard good things. So, ooh, that is more reasonable. Yeah, that's a little bit more reasonable. And that might be a good way to go. Again, when a lot of us have so many fragrances, we don't need the big bottles, even though we get tempted. I understand if you're going to spray it a heck of it a lot. Like if you're buying a designer fragrance and you're going to wear it a lot, maybe you can justify getting a big bottle. But if it's like a daring niche fragrance, you're not going to wear that often. If it's a special occasion fragrance and they have a 50 mil or a 100 mil, or if they have a 30 mil offering in a 50 or some odd size of fragrance, you might as well try to get one that's a little bit smaller. But for some reason, I'm funny. I kind of don't like anything smaller than 30 if I actually consider it like a full-on fragrance purchase. I kind of want something more than 30, even if it's an extrait, even if it's highly concentrated. I kind of like 30 mils or more. I don't know. That's just a little thing for me. I don't know why that is, but hey, we're all different. So let's see here. See, Ultra Supra. Hey, my friend, how you doing? So just coming in. Hey, Ben, your longevity is beast mode tonight. Absolutely. I'm staying long and strong tonight, pushing on, and I've been on here for about an hour and a half, I think it says. So it's we'll probably end a little bit in a couple minutes, but the conversation's still going pretty strong. And if y'all are here, that's what matters. It is getting kind of dark. I am the mysterious man in the dark, but I guess y'all like that. So let's see here. Good evening. Can you say something about this cologne, Orto Parisi Megamare? I have seen that fragrance. I have looked at it. It actually is on my try list, but I've never smelled it. It's supposedly a very salty, oceanic, aquatic fragrance. Supposedly lasts a very long time. I want to try it. It looks like something that I would like. I have a hard time with aquatics, and I do like salt in a fragrance, so it certainly is one that might be up my alley. It might be a winner for me, but I know that some people don't seem to like salt in fragrances. I've seen some people who don't like any salt, like they're repulsed by it. When a lot of the times when I come across citrus fragrances or aquatics, if they don't have a little bit of a something to it, like a salt, to me it just doesn't work. I don't like really delicate, soft citruses a lot of the times, but that's just me. I like again Swimming in Lipari by Dolce Gabbana. If you're on a budget, my friend, if you don't know if you like salt and fragrances, I would encourage you to probably blind buy that one first to see if you like salt and fragrances at all. Again, that's more of a salt and ambroxan fragrance, or synthetic ambergris, and really nice stuff. It's one of my favorite summer fragrances. Dolce Gabbana Swimming in Lipari. It's a flanker. Again, and some fragrance brands do flankers that are very similar and kind of generic and not too different. Dolce Gabbana flankers, I mean, there are a lot of them do have similarities, but yeah, every single one of them is a little bit different. There's the Beauty of Capri, there's the Living in Stromboli, there's the Love is Love, and there's a number of them, and they all definitely do have different notes. Go on Fragrantica or go watch some videos, and they all have different notes. So it's not like they just changed one thing. Some brands do that. It's kind of ridiculous. They put out a summer release every single year, just change the look of the bottle a little bit. Dolce Gabbana actually puts a little bit more work into it, so I might give that one a chance, my friend Jose. So, anyways, have you heard about this cologne? I've heard about it, just haven't tried it. Ultra Super says, Ben, have you heard anything about the 10th anniversary limited edition of Creed Aventus? I still don't see any reviews on fragrance on the fragrance itself. No, I have seen it. I have heard about it. I have seen the look of the bottle, and I don't think it's anything terribly exciting look-wise. I don't think the bottle's terribly beautiful or anything like that that makes it extremely luxurious or anything like that. I don't know if the composition's any different. I haven't seen any indication, or I haven't read anything that leads me to think that the fragrance is more concentrated or more similar to an original batch, or if they decide to add a little bit more of the smoke or anything like that. So for all I know, it's just got a different paint on the bottle or a different look, and it's the same old juice. So I don't know. I don't know how expensive it is either. I don't even want to really know, because y'all know that I already think that Creed Aventus isn't really worth the money in 2020. There's so many other good pineapple fragrances now on the market. I forget. I think it was A Gentleman's Journey. I think it was, or no, it was Gent Sense, and he was talking about how he thought like Hoctavot was actually better, and I agree. You know, for the money, Hoctavot by Nichane essentially is a better fragrance these days. And there's a number of other good niche fragrances that have a little bit of pineapple in them. So I'm not going to go for it. Maybe my dad will get a bottle, and maybe I'll be able to showcase y'all that bottle sometime in the future. But we'll see about that. We'll have to see. So isn't it the same fragrance? I thought it was. I'm sure it is. but I don't know if they decided to up the quality or go back to an older formulation. I don't know if they decide to do that or not. We'll have to see. But wonder if there's any different from the regular Aventus. I don't know. I'm kind of interested to know, but even if I had the money, I don't know if I'd spend that kind of money just for the heck of it. I don't know, guys. Unless I was wanting to save it so I could invest it, because Aventus, y'all already know, if you have money to play with, y'all know that in 5 years or 10 years or whatever it is, Aventus, that 10th anniversary fragrance, somebody's gonna have it, and somebody's gonna be asking at least a lot more money, than whatever it's selling for right now. It's Aventus on eBay is ridiculous if you don't know. The most desirable batches sometimes go as high as $2,000 if you don't know. It's wild. It's absolutely bonkers in there. So, see, notes. It's supposed to have some new notes. Who knows? I don't know. I really don't know anything about it. That's why I'm really curious about the reviews. Don't see any of them yet. Yeah. I don't know what to think about that. When I did my review of essentially the 2020 batches, it still had the 19 number. So, but it was like the early 2020. It was a lot of the early 2020 Aventuses still had 19 on them. They kind of made a oopsie there, but anyways, when I reviewed that fragrance, almost nobody was talking about it. Almost nobody was willing to talk about it, and I don't know if that's because they don't want to bother Creed, or maybe they don't want to seem like a fragrance critic because they won't get free fragrances, or maybe they just don't want to offend people. The more you play in the middle of the lane, the more you're able to really to appease just about everybody, and you don't really offend anybody. And the fragrance community is already so small that you really can't, really. I guess it's kind of hard if you were attempting to have your own little like clique and groupies. It's not like a really big, group of, I guess, really popular, I guess, group, or just a huge amount of people here on YouTube. So, playing a little bit on the middle of the road and not criticizing a fragrance might be a little bit smarter to do. I know that some people don't like me because I don't like Aventus, or don't like me because I do think batches are real, and there's all kinds of different reasons why you can get disliked by some fragrance people out there on YouTube in the world. So it's funny. It's really funny. So anyways, let's get back to some other comments. Ben in the Dark. Hey, hello. I am Mr. Ben, your fragrance reviewer, Centurion, the Dark Horse, and having fun over here. I need some sleep. Have a great weekend. Absolutely, Ronald. Have some fun. Take it easy. Enjoy life, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one, Ronald. Live life to the fullest. I know that you'll be smelling good out there, and cook up some good food too, my friend. So, Jose Soto says thank you. No note says Ben after dark going to get. I don't know about that. I should probably go. We're creeping up on We've been on here for an hour and 40 minutes. Stephanie's laughing. We got everybody entertained. Been going long and strong. Yeah. I hope that y'all like that joke. Jay Demon says, I don't want you to get bitten by mosquitoes, and you're trying to end this. No problem. I'm in the South. I can deal with a couple mosquito bites. Actually, earlier this week, I was kind of having a bad day already, and then something bad happened after this as well, but it also made it bad enough that I got stung by a red wasp. And red wasp aren't the most painful stings in the world. There are things that are worse. But around here, it's one of the worst things you can get stung by. If you've never seen, Google a red wasp. They're not small, and they're kind of aggressive. And this is only, I think, the second time in my life I've ever got stung by one. And this time it was probably the worst of the two. If they get dehydrated, they can't fly very well, and they tend to try to attack or eat anything they can. Red wasps are notorious for this, and this was one that was dehydrated in the garage, and it got me, and it got me bad. So yeah, life sometimes is bad, but you make the best of it. The pain was so bad I could actually feel it up my leg. So that means that's a pretty bad pain. That's some pretty bad pain. So Ben going anyways. Appreciate it. Heard the has released a ton of. I don't know. I don't know if they are doing that. I don't know why, but who knows why they're doing that? Maybe they're trying to do something funny where they change the population's genetics so that they carry less viruses. I don't know what their justification is, but hopefully they're not playing around. Usually they tend to cause more problems than they fix, sadly. And but sometimes, I mean, it is a concern. You know, there we still do mosquito. There are mosquito trucks around here that release certain types of toxins that kill mosquitoes from time to time. Some years are really bad, and there have been times around here with yellow fever where it has been very bad, and people have been very concerned. When yellow fever was probably at its worst, I still remember I was still a younger teenager, and I remember going around. A lot of people were scared, wouldn't go dare to go around in the woods, but it was still in the middle of the day. You wouldn't really want to go around when it's dark, but I still went around. It was the middle of the day, and I remember seeing like a dead bird, and it was, you know, it hadn't been eaten, nobody had shot in it. No, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't dead of old age. It was still, it would have normally been a healthy bird, and it was because of yellow fever. And I remember that kind of made me sad, but you know, life happens. So going as well. Glad to have caught the last bit. Take care, all you frag heads. Absolutely. Ouch. So sorry, Ben. I hope that you have a better weekend. Absolutely. We're gonna make it fun. We'll make it good. Hopefully, I'll see you later. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It's the same time. We'll make it a date, 6 p.m. Central, and have a fun time. Come on back. I am releasing videos every day. I am thinking about maybe next week starting to release maybe 3 videos a week, maybe 4 videos a week. Let me know if this pace is too much. Again, I have been putting videos about every day, just about for over a year. And for a couple weeks ago, for about a week or so, I put out actually 2 videos a day. So I've been putting out tons of content, guys. Hope that y'all like it. And but I do think I want to get maybe make the pace a little bit more normal. This has been an awful lot of work, but I hope that y'all appreciate it. Can't wait for the videos. Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. So, uh, absolutely, J Demon. Perhaps Zoologist will release Mosquito Oda X straight soon. Who knows? I have joked with Zoologist, and I talked to him a tiny bit, just in chat. Nothing formal. Don't know him too well. He seems like a cool guy, but I suggested 2 fragrances to him that I would like. Just just commenting to Zoologist. The 2 fragrances I want to him to see. Of course, there's so many beautiful and wonderful and exotic creatures out there in the world. He has hundreds of animals he could do that would be very entertaining and interesting. Everything from platypus to aardvark to all kinds of crazy stuff. But what I want to see is whale, and I want to see zebra. Whale would, of course, be an ambergris fragrance, but he would do something interesting. I'm sure that he would put his little spin on it, maybe make it really fresh and then make it turn really dark, because whales actually can go really deep and they sometimes can travel to tropical areas, but of course, focused on the ambergris. But with the zebra, I would like it to be a really interesting fragrance that had kind of like a really nice balance of like zebras live in places that can have a lot of rain, but also often are kind of like really really dry and deserts. But so kind of have a interesting complexity between the fragrance feeling like light and then feeling heavy. So maybe having a really interesting play on maybe some darker notes like a dark patchouli and maybe some powdery florals, and also adding a little bit of interesting, almost like an exotic. Of course, adding that African kind of character to that fragrance. So that's what I would like. So. Anyways, Ultra Super says, get some well deserved rest now, Ben. Have a great weekend. Absolutely. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. I'll see you next time. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, spending some of your weekend with me, having some fun. Y'all were wonderful guests, I guess I should say, or wonderful friends. And thank y'all so much for spending time with me, hanging out. This means a lot to me. I hope that it was fun to y'all, for y'all as well. And I'll see you next time, everybody. Have a good one. Have a good night. Sleep well. Have some fun if you're a partier, if you're a raver, but be responsible. Y'all know, be careful. No, none of that funny driving stuff when you're intoxicated. And I'll see you next time, everybody. Peace out and bye.